Today, we're diving into a really stark and honestly unsettling piece of American history. This is a story that's going to make us ask some tough questions. I mean, really tough questions about crime, about age, and what justice even looks like. 17. This number? This is the whole story. Right here. 17. That's how old a boy named Floyd Loveless was when the state of Nevada put him to death. So you gotta ask yourself, how does this even happen? How does a kid end up in a gas chamber? Well, it's a tragic journey that starts with a crime spree in Indiana and ends, tragically, on death row in Nevada. So to really get a handle on this, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning. Okay, so our story actually kicks off not in Nevada, but way back in the summer of '42, with a 15-year-old kid whose life was already going way off the rails. So for 6 straight weeks, Floyd and his older brother Robert just tore through Lafayette, Indiana. I mean, the local paper wasn't messing around. They called it a reign of terror. And, when you see the actual list of crimes, you'll see why. Whoa, just look at this. The sheer scale of it is kind of staggering. This wasn't just kids being kids, right? We're talking over 50 different crimes, 20 car break-ins, stealing cars, shoplifting, burglaries, even aggravated assaults. It was a completely chaotic and dangerous spree. You just knew it was going to end with him in front of a judge. So for all that, Floyd ends up in juvenile court, and they gave him the maximum sentence they could. He was sent to the Indiana Boys School until he was 21. But, as you're about to see, his time there was not very long. All right, and this is where the story takes a really dark turn. He escapes from the boys' school, heads west, and walks straight into a confrontation that is going to seal his fate forever. It's just incredible how fast this all went down. So after only 30 days, he's out. He and another kid escape, they steal a car, and start heading west, robbing places along the way to get by. And then, near Elko, Nevada, he makes this huge mistake. He steals a truck. The problem is, it's a local ranch manager's truck. Everybody knows it. So yeah, it doesn't take long at all before he's pulled over by a man named Constable Adolph Burning. And this is the moment. This is where everything changes, forever. These are Floyd's own words from his testimony, and they are just chilling. See, the constable, who is in plain clothes, gets in to drive Floyd to the station. That's when Floyd pulls out a stolen revolver. They struggle over it, there's a shot, the gun jams, and then he pulls the trigger again. And this time, it works. Constable Burning, this guy was a respected lawman for 26 years. He held on for 36 hours, but he died from his wounds. And just like that, this kid's crime spree escalated from theft to murder. So Floyd gets caught. And from there, the wheels of justice start turning, and they turn with terrifying speed. The system was now all about punishment, and a few key things pushed this whole situation toward a really fast, really severe ending. Just look at this timeline. It's insane. Floyd is still just 15 years old, but he's immediately kicked out of juvenile court to be tried as an adult. He's charged with murder on September 12th. By October 5th, we're talking less than a month, he has been tried, found guilty, and sentenced to death. It's just unbelievably fast. And then you have the media's role in this whole thing. Get this, according to our sources, the Nevada newspapers just kept printing his age as 16, over and over, even though they knew he was 15. Now, that might sound like a small thing, right? 1 year, but it was absolutely crucial. It helped create this public image of a young man, not the actual child he was. So he actually got a little bit of a break, but it was because of a legal mistake. The first time, the jury's verdict just said guilty as charged. His lawyer, pretty sharp, pointed out that Nevada law said you had to specify if it was first-degree or second-degree murder. The state Supreme Court actually agreed with him and ordered a whole new trial. But in the end, it didn't change a thing. The second jury came back with the right wording, murder in the first degree, and boom, the death sentence was back on the table. So now Floyd Loveless is on death row. His appeals are drying up, and this final chapter of his life is just this incredible, heartbreaking contrast between the person he was becoming and the unmovable machinery of the state. While he was waiting to die, a totally different Floyd started to emerge. He got involved in prison life, he was a timekeeper for boxing matches, he played second base on the softball team, he found religion, he read books, he wrote letters. The warden and others said he'd lost all his bitterness and had become, in their words, a proper young man. But here's the thing, none of that mattered. This personal change had zero effect on his legal fate. And that's the real tragedy here, right? He's a kid, he seems to be turning his life around, and still every single door was slammed shut. The Board of Pardons said no, the governor refused to intervene, nothing. So in his last moments, what was he thinking about? His family back in Indiana. His very last request was a simple, quiet one. He just asked for some roses to be sent to his grandmother, the woman who had raised him. And then the end came. And it was just so cold, so procedural. They read the death warrant, he walked 13 steps to the steel gas chamber chair, they strapped him in, they dropped sodium cyanide pellets into sulfuric acid. And at 6:29 p.m., just 2 years after he ran away from that boys' school, 17-year-old Floyd Loveless was pronounced dead.
Look, the story of Floyd Loveless, it's more than just some old, forgotten true crime case. It's really like a mirror, and it reflects this really deep, ongoing problem in our justice system.
And it all comes down to this one fundamental question. When a child commits what we call an adult crime, what does justice actually look like? It's been 80 years, and we are still fighting over this question as a society. Floyd's story, it doesn't give us any easy answers at all, but it is one heck of a powerful reminder of the huge, irreversible consequences that come with whatever answer we choose.